Okay, first Sunday of the new year, 2017. It's still today. No matter how you look at it, it's still today. But these symbols have significance, and we use them to move forward in our willingness. You know, it's not move forward in our spirituality so much as our willingness for our spirituality. You know, to what do you want to experience? And if you looked on the front of your bulletin, you'll notice that the talk title today, it was self-reliant, and we scratched out self and put God-reliant. But you need a great understanding of God if you're going to be God-reliant. Because if you don't like God, or if you think God does not like you, why would you depend upon that kind of a God? If you think God needs you to be guilty, if you think God has a personality, really you might want to rethink it. If you think God wants anything, God doesn't want anything. That's the God of my understanding. And I can really get on board with a God that doesn't want anything but has everything. That God is presence itself. It's not present here. I'm present here. Here I am. Hello. God is presence itself. That God is intelligence itself. It's not that God is smart. I'm smart. But God is the very intelligence that I draw from for my smartness. That God is power itself. Not powerful, but power itself. Remember, we needed a word to communicate this bigness. And so we, as people, made up a word, and we called it God. Because we didn't know how else to deal with this presence. This invisible presence. It was too much for human beings to take in. It was just too much. And yet, we knew there was something there, here. We knew there was. And then leaders started giving it a more human approach. And people liked that. And then certain spiritual leaders started giving it a more dictatorial approach to try to get us in alignment. To try to get, us uncivilized human beings, us uncultured human beings, to round us up so that we could be a little more controlled and we'd stop killing each other. Well, how's that worked out? That we would stop starving. How's that worked out? That we would stop hurting each other. That we would stop being greedy. That we would stop. Now, clearly control does not work. Clearly intimidation does not work. God reliance works. To rely on the invisible presence of that thing that I know just is. And I know it flows through me. And I know it talks to me in ways that I can understand. And sometimes when that voice happens, I say, think you know, I've got it from here. Oosh, I'm glad you got me this far, but I'm okay now. But to follow all the way through with the guidance of that invisible presence, that voice that lives within each and every one of us, that says, you could love here if you wanted to. You could tolerate these feelings rather than eat this. You don't have to hurt anybody today if you don't want to. Yeah, you'll be uncomfortable for a little bit, but it'll get more comfortable if you just wait. That voice. Last week I mentioned I recently was taking somebody through the 12 steps, and what stood out for him was the term self-reliance. And he realized how much he had been relying on self-reliance, and it wasn't paying off the way he had hoped. I can do it. I can do it without praying, without consulting that inner voice. Oh, I have to do it all. You know, some of us here are people who have to do it all. They can't let anybody else pitch in. You have to do it all yourself because it's the only way it's going to get done right. And what you lose out on is fellowship. Your way might be the best way to get the job done, but is your way the best way for the journey to get the job done? And which is more important, getting the job done or the journey? Which is more important, your sense of community or your sense of importance? Which is more important, knowing you're not alone ever, or your sense of I'm always alone and I always get it done and I wish the rest of these people would shape up and do it right. You know, which is more important? And for some of us it's I'm doing it and I can always get the job done right and I wish the rest of it. And people are willing to settle for that. To settle for less. Rather than, you know, I settle for just a piece of sky. When you can have the whole freaking world, the whole everything that every bit of good is at your fingertips. Every bit of good is right here at your fingertips. It's the new year, and we're going to do our two projects here. You'll notice all of you got an envelope, you got a pen, you got a big piece of paper, and you got a small piece of paper. What I would be grateful for right now is if you would pull out the pen and the small piece of paper. Yes, as opposed to the big piece of paper. You would be surprised how this gets confused.
Which one?
Yeah, I know. And the envelope is not the small piece of paper. I really don't mean to condescend. Or maybe I do.
Which way do we turn this wheel?
Any way you want. Do you need my help? So, your pen and your small piece of paper, would you please make a gratitude list?
Yeah.
Would you please write down everything you can think of that you are grateful for? And when you finish with that list, would you meet me downstairs? Because we're going to burn your gratitude list. We're going to send your gratitude into the ethers. We're going to send everything that you are thankful for out into the ethers through ash and smoke and joy. I'll see you downstairs when you're ready.